Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. This one here, I wanted to go over the deck that I played in today's league challenge. There wasn't really a whole lot of people as the notice was too soon for most of them, but we, however, did get 9 players with 4 rounds, so that's not too bad. And I, of course, played Lugia. I said, at the, beginning of this season that I was probably going to be playing Lugia for most of it. And, the last tournament, I felt like, I didn't really give it much of a chance. And I wanted to replay it and see how well I can do with it, right? Plus, not to mention that Lugia right now is actually really, really good in the meta. It's got great matchups all across the board. It's probably its hardest matchup is Charizard, right? Miraidon there is not even that bad, right? People say that you do lose to it, right? But it really all depends on who goes first and whether or not, which deck sets up. Right? The thing with Miraidon is that you have, you can one-shot all their Pokemon, right? Because they have relatively low HP. And they can one-shot a lot of your Pokemon because they have weakness, right? And I know a lot of people are playing, the Zapdos from Pokemon Go that adds a 10 damage for the Tyranitar, which is good. But what do you do against something like the Urshifu here, right? This is one of the most important cards in the metagame right now, and I'll get into it in a moment. So, without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. 3 Lugia VStar to start, 4 Lugia V. I've said this time and time again, right? All the stats, I'm not going to get into that. This is the main Pokemon of the deck, right? You want to get 2 of these out on turn 1. That way, if one of them gets knocked out, you have the other one to evolve into the V-Star, which you want to get on turn 2, right? So 2 things with the V-Star, right? Tempest Dive there hits a perfect 220, which knocks out basically all V Pokemon. And it discards the stadium card. You may discard any stadium, so that's really good. Discarding your opponent's stadium like Artisan or Pokestop, right? Or even Path to the Peak, right? So you can use your abilities, right? It's really good, right? And you definitely want to be using this at some point in the game as an attacker. It's mainly there for its Summoning Star ability, though, which allows you to put 2 normal type Pokemon from your discard pile into play, which you're going to want to put these into play. 2 of these. Archeops, right? All these are from Silver Tempest. This is literally the core from Silver Tempest here. And by the way, yes, my hands are a little bit dirty. For those that don't know, I'm a plumber, right? So I could wash my hands like 3 times and, they'd still look a little bit dirty, right? So, whatever, right? But, Archeops is there for its Primal Turbo ability, which allows you to search for up to 2 special energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Pardon me, to one of your Pokemon. So, that's really good. That's incredibly good. So yeah, this is the core of the deck. This is what the whole deck is based on, is these here, and everything else just kind of works around it. All right, let's get into some of the other attackers, right? The most beefiest attacker in the game, just sheer power, single strike Urshifu V, right? What a monster of a card. I think every Lugia should be playing this right now. And the reason why that I say that is, 1, because it's fighting type, right? fighting type is great against Miraidon and Arceus decks, right? Arceus is weak to fighting, so you hit with Impact Blow, and when you evolve, if you evolve to the VMax, you can knock out an Arceus V-Star with Beatdown with 2 single strike energies and any other colorless energy that's not double turbo. That's insane. And then the other thing is the VMAX's second attack, Gmax 1 Blow. The most powerful attack in the game right now that's being played. Right? This is crazy. It hits for 270, which really it hits for 330 because you have 3 single strike energies on it. Right? 330 knocks out so many Pokemon. It knocks out Duraludon VMAX. It knocks out Charizard EX, right? It's one of the other options as an attacker against Giratina V-Star, right? Palkia V-Star, right? All the 280 hit point V-Stars. This knocks out. You can even knock out Mew if it gets into play, right? This is how crazy good this is. This is way better than Stonjourner, right? Stonjourner can't knock out a Charizard or a Giratina, and that's why you need to be playing this. Pretty cool. Next, on to the, I guess the support Pokemon and, some other attackers, right? We got 2 Lumineon V to search out our supporter cards with Luminous Sign. 2 Tyranitar V, right? So it's Dark type, meaning it one-shots Mew VMAX and Gardevoir EX, right? The Cragalanche attack there, the first attack, right, when you put 3 single strike energies on it, right? It hits for 120 and discards the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck, so it's great at milling stuff, right? This is a great attack versus Lost Zone decks. Pretty cool. And then the other attack, Single Strike Crush, right? 240, throw a couple single strike energies on there, right? It hits that magic 280 mark, and once again, it knocks out, V-Stars, which is huge. We got a Squawkabilly EX for those turns where we like for that opening turn where we don't really have much going, right? And we need to get rid of our hand. This is our target. Got a Radiant Tsareena here to heal ourselves, right? So when our opponent who's playing Lost Zone, Vox, or Lost Zone Tina, Giratina V-Star, right? When they try to Sableye you after they Greninja'd, right? You can use Radiant Tsarena's ability, Elegant Heal, to heal 20 to prevent 2 Sableye KOs on your Archeops, right? Because Greninja does 90 to him. And then Sableye, put 6 and 6. That's 150. That knocks him out. Right? You use that ability in between those 2 attacks. Well, guess what? You just saved your 2 Archeops for another turn. So that's how crazy crucial this card is in here. And one option I'm thinking of doing is maybe replacing that with Radiant Charizard as another attacker, but then the question is just like what to do with that fire energy, right? How am I going to get that into play? Am I going to play a luminous energy? And am I going to, I guess I won't be able to use it early game. I'll have to use it late game, right? Or am I just going to play like a basic fire? I'm not really too sure yet. We got Single Strike Yveltal, right? It's another great card versus Psychic decks. Gardevoir and Mew, right? With 3 Single Strike energies on it, it knocks out both Mew VMAX and Gardevoir EX with its second attack. And a Pumpkaboo is another Stadium Bouncer that's searchable, so pretty cool. And that is the Pokemon. So now on to the trainer cards. The trainers supporters and stadiums. We got 3 Iono, great against Lost Zone decks and decks that don't like their hands manipulated. 3 Professor's Research, nice to have just some straight draw. 2 Boss's Orders, and 1 Serena, right? I like this split because Serena is an actual consistency card because it allows another way. It's another way to discard your Archeops or anything useless in your hand. Like if you got like a Squawkabilly or, you know, just something like stupid, like a nest ball when your bench is full, right? Like it allows you to get rid of cards so you can draw cards, right? So that's why I have it. And it still gusts up Pokemon V, so it's still really good. Then stadiums, we got 2 Mesagoza. Another consistency card, right? I really like this card. I've been actually debating on taking one of them out. I'm not really too sure what I would maybe put in. I'm thinking maybe the Pokemon League HQ for decks like Lost Zone. But then again, they just, you know, use Switch Cart, Escape Rope, or Jet Energy to switch their actives. So would that even really help, right? We got a Collapse Stadium to get rid of the useless Pokemon that are on our bench. So like Lumineon after we played, or a Squawkabilly. And then a Path to the Peak. Because after we Summoning Star, the only ability that we're going to use is really Luminous Sign. So, you know, I think, you know, in some games you don't even need to do that. That you get a lot more value with this path, right? So, pretty good. And that is the supporters and these stadium cards. So next we have our item cards. And our item cards are really simple. This is the single strike version, so I'm sure you already know which item's in here, but that'll be a moment. We got 4 Capturing Aroma. Both, coin flip results are good, heads and tails, right? Especially early game. Late game, it kind of does matter, but, you know, hopefully you're able to run into what you need with other means. And actually, speaking of other means, we have a pair of Ultra Ball. Pardon me, 2 pairs of Ultra Ball. So 4 copies. Right? The best Pokemon search for the deck here. And it allows us to discard our Archeops. And then, like I said, because it's single strike, we got 3 Urn of Vitality. This helps us recover our energies. Right? This might even be good to bump up to 4, right? If you're super dependent on it. And you might be. And then, lastly, a special tech card that I actually borrowed from a guy named Konrad K. In my local area. He was the one that kind of inspired me with this, and after kind of thinking about it, I decided to try it out, and actually I really like it. That is a Tech Bravery Charm. So with this and a V-Guard energy, it makes Tyranitar V. Your opponent can't knock it out with Giratina V-Star's Lost Impact. It won't do enough damage, right? It puts Tyranitar V up to 280 HP with a V-Guard. They would have to hit 310 damage to knock it out, and they just can't do that. So it lets them survive another turn, and then Tyranitar just slaps Giratina in the face again. So, great card here. And that was literally the only change, as I did cut a nest ball for it from the last League Challenge, right? So it's pretty much the same list, except I dropped the nest ball and added a Bravery Charm, right? And you could do this with any tool in your area, right? But yeah, I really like this, so pretty cool. And actually, it was kind of a shocker right at the beginning of my first game versus Chien Pao. I had a Tyranitar pretty much fully powered with, I think it was like 3 single strike energies on it, and then I had that on expecting my Tyranitar to live a turn. This is against Chien Pao, and they surprisingly lost vacuumed to discard my Bravery Charm and then put 4 energy onto Chien Pao to knock it out. Within their 5-card hand, they literally had the perfect 5-card combination. So I was pretty disappointed, but luckily, in the end, I ended up winning that game because they just couldn't get enough energy into play, and I think they had used 3 of their 4 super energy retrievals. So, and then lastly, Nestball, just one of them to search out a basic Pokemon and put it onto our bench. So pretty cool. And that is it for the trainer cards, the item cards. So lastly, we have our energy cards. And like I said, I didn't really change much except for that 1 card from the last League Challenge. So 4 single strike energy, right? Provides fighting in dark and can only be attached to a single strike Pokemon. Does an extra 20 damage when it attacks. 3 double turbo provides 2 energy, but reduces your damage done by 20. 2 gift energy. When it's knocked out, the Pokemon this is attached to, you can draw cards till you have 7 in your hand. 2 jet energy or switch card, right? I actually really like this card. I might want to increase it to 3. And then 2 V-Guard energy, right? For that 30 reduction against V Pokemon. So like Giratina VStar, like I mentioned earlier. Pretty cool. So 13 energy. And that is it for the deck. So as for my matchups, I went 2 wins, 2 losses. The first game, like I'd said, it was pretty much down to the wire. I got, caught off guard at the beginning there when they lost. Vacuumed that Bravery Charm on my Tyranitar, because otherwise I would have been able to just boss another Chien Pao that they bring into play and then knock it out, right? But yeah, I won that game. It was pretty close. I ended up finishing with the play was Lumineon, Boss, and I had a Lugia VStar active with 2 double turbo on a Baxcalibur and then knock it out for the win. It was 2 Chien Pao knockouts and 2 Baxcalibur knockouts for the win. So, and then round 2 was against Charizard, right? It wasn't Lost Charizard. It wasn't Pidgeot Arceus Charizard. This Charizard was the Curlia version. So pretty much, it's like a Gardevoir, pretty much setup deck, except it doesn't play Gardevoir. It just plays like Charizard. It's like a 4/4 Curlia line with maybe, well, I think it was like 2 Gallade, the supporter searching one, and then like a 3/2/3 or 3/1/3 Charizard line. So might be more. Might be a 4/1/3. That was a tough one. I had my Urshifu V and a Tyranitar V prized, so it just ended up coming down to like I just can't wear the Charizard's down enough without some like bigger attackers, and between retreating, I just couldn't do it. So I ended up losing that one. The Miraidon matchup, which is my number 3 matchup, round 3, was like the most 50-50 matchup possible, right? We traded knockouts blow for blow. It came down to my turn. Like the most important turn was my turn before my opponent won, and I had a Path to the Peak in hand, right, and an open bench space, and I didn't play it because I didn't have a way to discard the stadium, and I wanted to play the Lumineon in my hand the next turn to grab boss to knock out a Pokemon V or Miraidon EX for the win. And so I attacked. I knocked out his Raikou. I knocked out 2 Raikou, and then he brings up Miraidon, right? And then he what's it called? I think he brings he Ultra Balls, discards 2 cards, searches for a Lumineon, grabs boss, and then knocks out my Pokemon for the win. So I was pretty disappointed about that, like, because I didn't know, and most Miraidon lists don't play Lumineon. I've never seen it, but this one did, and I'm just like, bro, like, really? So good on him. Great job, Ryan. And then round 4 was against Lostina. It pretty much ended with me. He went up. He had brought a Tina up against Lugia, right? Thinking that I didn't have like the turn 2 Archeops or turn 3 Archeops, but I did, right? And so I was able to knock out the Tina with Tempest Dive. The next turn I bossed up the other Tina that he played down, right? And I knocked that one out. And then the last turn, I actually knocked out another Tina. So with I think it was a boss. Yeah, because he promoted one. So I knocked out one with one Tina by him promoting, one with a boss, and then one with the second boss for the win. So all with one Lugia. It was a 6-0 victory. So yeah, there you go, everybody. That is my League Challenge report here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, all that mumbo jumbo. We're going to have hopefully some not celebrations, pardon me, Pokemon 151, or I was thinking celebrations, but it's 151 this upcoming weekend. Obviously another deck profile on Friday, which will be cool. And yeah, don't forget about that giveaway at 250 subscribers. So pretty cool. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. And once again, see you in the next video.